today. First of all, we're here to talk about a death that occurred on or around Lady Bird Lake. There's a couple things that go along with that. As a parent, as a family member, as a spouse, I can't really understand the gravity of losing a family member. So, of course, we want to acknowledge that piece of it. As part of the investigation and the process, the family will be notified. The family has not been notified yet, so we want to respect their wishes, and we'll have to understand that we won't be able to release as much information about the decedent as we would like as a result of that wishes of the family, or until the family's notified. The other piece is we want to acknowledge as the Austin Police Department that we certainly understand people will speculate quite a bit when there is a death in or around Lady Bird Lake, right? So I want to provide as many answers as I can right now, so that we don't have to speculate. Our homicide unit will follow up with any additional information at a later time, but we'll provide what little information we can provide today. So along those lines, today at about 10:51 a.m. on the other shore of Lady Bird Lake, so on the north shore of Lady Bird Lake, some citizens observed a older white or Hispanic male in the water of Lady Bird Lake. They called in to 911. Police, fire, and EMS were dispatched to that location to investigate that incident and to provide aid. Unfortunately, when they arrived, the subject was deceased and was pronounced deceased at about 11:13 a.m. Part of the process in investigating this incident, our Lake Unit, police, fire, EMS came out. Our George officers or downtown officers came out to investigate that. There are also our medical examiner, our crime scene unit are here, as well as the homicide unit. Looking for any signs of injury or foul play. At this time, there's no signs of trauma or other things that would lead us to believe this is any type of homicide or murder, but that those answers will be provided as the investigation goes on. So as part of that, they're examining, the medical examiner's office and the homicide unit are inspecting the body for signs of any type of injury. They'll also investigate the circumstances surrounding how that person ended up there at that date and time, and provide and understand those things as the investigation goes on. We also want to acknowledge that the public is instrumental in cases like this. So everything from citizens that call 911 to people that can provide any information, if there was something to be suspicious or concerning, or we do depend on the public to provide us that information. So we will provide the homicide tip line 512-974. TIPS is the homicide line, or you can always call Crime Stoppers 512-472 TIPS to provide any information to the Austin Police Department in reference to this incident or any other incident. That's probably all the information I can provide. I can try to answer some questions if there's some gaps, and if I can provide that information, I'd like to.
What's the total number of death investigations you guys have had near Lady Bird Lake this year?
I don't know the answer to that question. Or you could contact our PIO office and they can provide information.
Multiple, obviously, right?
I don't know the answer to that question offhand, so I'd hate to speculate. There have been deaths in or around Lady Bird Lake. As far as the numbers this year, I'm just not familiar with them.
Does it make it more difficult for APD to, when the first thing people talk about when something happens like this is go automatically to the theories they have, that getting the truth out is harder? Or
so the question is, is it problematic when the public speculates on a death investigation and thinks it's suspicious when we don't have any information to that? Is that kind of the question? That question, the process is the process. The public is going to have their concerns. We would love to provide all the answers as soon as we came out here, as soon as that 911 call came out, but it obviously is a process. So that's why we do things like, look at the condition of the body, check out the surrounding scenarios and timeline by which that person came to that date and time, and then that helps to provide some clarity. People are going to be concerned, and I understand we can't provide as much information as we would like, so people are going to want to fill in the gap. So I think it's just natural for people to have those concerns.
So we don't want to talk about, because the family hasn't been notified?
Correct. So the family has not been notified yet. That will be part of the process. That's something that happens relatively soon. Our medical examiner's office, in connection with the homicide unit, will provide that information to the family when they're identified.
The person was found in the water?
Yes.
Any tips? A lot of people use these trails. They're running.
Sure.
Obviously, a very popular area. What do you recommend to the public?
Sure. I mean, always, with trail safety, with this incident or anytime you're out in public, we often get sucked into our phones or not paying attention to our surroundings, or have our AirPods in or earpods in or headphones on, and we're not paying attention to our surroundings. That's always important. In regards to this particular case, I can't say what, if that made any difference, but certainly good public safety and good awareness is always beneficial.
Do you know if this victim was homeless or was this just a trail goer?
Don't have any idea or information on that. Like I said, elderly, white or Hispanic male is all the information I can provide right now. I'll take one more question.
Public shouldn't be concerned. Is there any threat to the public, you think?
So the question was, is there any concern to the public or threat to the public? Right now, we don't have any concern. We're not concerned at all about an ongoing threat to the public. Great question. If we did have any information through this investigation that there were concerns for public safety, we'll provide that as soon as possible. Thanks, guys.